First Wednesday of the month is the body of conscious awakenings in terms of body, mind, and spirit. And so what we mean by the body is any physical manifestation, any actualization, a project, a job, money, whatever it is that, that you desire and are creating in the world. And so we started last month with a series based on the book Busting Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld. And Busting Loose from the Money Game takes a look at games and how games often have random rules, rules that are not created by us but by someone else. And then we took a look at what if the whole idea of money and the way we do money in this reality is actually a game. And what if the rules were not designed by us? What if they were designed by someone else? And if we were to get conscious of that, what type of rules would we want to play by? So it generated a great conversation and about 50 Facebook posts the day after. And so it was asked to continue the series. So we're going to go continue this month where we left off with exploring money as a game. And then also exploring what limits us in creating the game the way we want. And Robert's got some technology for that. But in addition, we've got some additional tools that are the secrets that the Illuminati use. So these are some of the tools that the secret societies use that are taught amongst those people that aren't taught to the layperson. And so we'll go through a series of tools and how the law of attraction works, how it's also been misidentified and misapplied, and how to actually use it to your advantage. So we'll be talking more on that. And then at the end of the night, we'll have a special treat where Doug Fulton will be coming, and he'll be presenting his new sound therapy to everyone. And he just did a demo of it last week to a group of people, and they loved it, and his calendar booked up. So, so he'll be describing what his new sound therapy is, the results he's been seeing, and give us all a sample of it.
And that will be July 11th, this next Wednesday. Will be the body of conscious awakenings. And then the following Wednesday will be the mind of conscious awakenings. And last month we had talked about astronomy and astrology. And Mark Schambeck had brought a presentation talking about how the sun is traveling through space and the planets are actually spiraling around the sun as it travels through space, creating something that looks somewhat like our DNA. And that kind of also brought us into the spiral dynamics, which we'll be talking about this Wednesday, July 18th. For the mind of conscious awakenings. And Cassie Ellison, right here, will also be doing a presentation along with Mark Schambeck and myself, and anyone else who's interested and knows a little bit about spiral dynamics. And Cassie, you're going to also be talking about memes?
It's as an integral part of spiral dynamics, yes, not as a separate topic.
Okay.
This particular concept of spiral dynamics can be applied to the individual person. It can be applied to societies. It can be applied to cultures. It can be applied to businesses. About any topic that you are involved with in living, you can apply the concepts of spiral dynamics and learn from it. And it has two phases. It has the psychological, emotional, spiritual phase, and then it has the physical phase of development on these various levels. And one of the things that it brings up is the study that was done by Hegel called Hegelian theory of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, which is like you start with one thing, like the thesis is I am, and then you have somebody that comes along and says, no, you're not, God is. And so that's the antithesis of the thesis. And then they fight this out for a while. And some of these people that fight it out come together into a synthesis, which is considered the new thesis. And it just spirals up from there, so that you have, in society, you have this thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and it just spirals on up all the way up at all levels of consciousness and awareness.
About this month. And then the Spirit of Conscious Awakenings is going to be the last Wednesday of the month, and we're having tears of joy and inspiration. And not too long ago, I did a laughing meditation, and we had such a huge turnout for that, and everybody loved it. And I always thought, you know, a community that laughs together should cry together. And so I came up with this idea of throwing that in for the spirit of this month, and I'm really excited about it. And so I figured we're going to have a pretty big showing. Matter of fact, Guy, our Reverend at Unity, had mentioned that very thing when he was talking about Jesus in the past and how they had professional mourners when somebody died, and you know how they would go there and you know they would actually cry, and then others would join in and cry with them. And so he had mentioned that, and you know that just brings up all the synchronicities that are happening, because I don't talk to him about anything, and it seems like all the messages that come through church are exactly what we're talking about within our group. And our movie for this month is going to be July 27th, which is the last Friday of the month, and it's going to be Biology of Perception. And we have our 1-year anniversary party, which is going to be the following day after that, which is Saturday, July 28th, and that's going to be in Lake Oswego. And we're going to have plenty of performers, and we're going to have plenty of activities and games. So that's going to be exciting. And we're also making business cards for Conscious Awakening, so we can start going to meetup groups, and you know, on certain groups that are pretty much in the same lines of what we're doing, and we're just growing and expanding. And I'd like to talk more about, you know, the Thrive movement. I posted something on Conscious Awakenings just recently about CADR. I might be saying that incorrectly, but it's about a hidden fund that is actually taken from our taxes. And it was over $780 billion just in California alone. That is actually money set there for a rainy day, and like Foster Gamble says, it's raining now. And so these funds are like secretly put in there, and he wants to get the word out for everybody to look into this, so that way we can start pulling these funds and start using it for everything, instead of all these government, in other words, teachers, law enforcement, and stuff like that, instead of them laying them off and busting them down to like minimum wage. This money can actually prevent that from happening. Well, Karen Simon, we brought into Conscious Awakenings. I first met her at a Thrive showing that we had at Unity, and she's part of Access Consciousness, and we were having trouble with the body of Conscious Awakenings, and she had a lot of expertise in that area, so I brought her in, and we've had an outstanding response to that.